I got some miscellaneous news. I will play the breaking news for you guys as we watch this idiot botch on the side who lit himself on fire. Are you guys ready for some light news? The light news section. I just want to update everyone. So I read this on the show. Matt Riddle controversy escalates as promoter confirms refund and threatens countersuit. So I guess I brought this to the show, but my update is I guess this promoter is a little shady too. And people have called him out for shit in the past. So I just want to update. And I was like, you called it, bro.
A shady wrestling promoter? Who would have thought?
A Carney promoter. But Chris Connor was like, dude, Matt Riddle's an idiot. Like, it won't be long again, and he'll find himself in some more controversy. And then, like, a day later, this came out, and I was like, you're right, bro. However, I just want to update, like, a week later and say, apparently this promoter is a bit of a Carney himself. I don't know if anyone wants to drop all the facts on me, tag me on X or something. That'd be amazing. But I just want to sort of do a bit of a, not a retraction, but just an update so we have our facts straight there. Goldberg's son gets asked about the negative comments Bret Hart makes about his dad. And he's like, you got to let things, you got to let things go. And he is with Sports Kita and Bill Apter here. So let's listen to Gage. His name's Gage, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's now 5 Jews to 1 indigenous.
I mean, what about Apter? Do we know about Apter? We could be up to 6 at this point.
I'm looking at that guy and I'm recognizing my people.
Jesus. So yeah, let's Jews in the house. Anyways, let's go here. Let's listen to what Apter and Gage Goldberg have to say.
What do you think about Bret Hart constantly talking badly about your dad?
I mean, we don't really like to talk about that a lot, but I mean, you got to let things go 100% and just you can't just keep harping on this one thing when someone's successful, and stuff happens.
Yeah.
What the f did that even mean? No, I'm so sorry. Can't be. It's like, yeah, Bret was successful too, man. But yeah, I get it. Let it go.
That's a pretty good political answer from the kid.
Yeah, it is. But he's like, how can you be harping when someone's so successful? It's like, dude, Goldberg's still harping on all the time. When he gives interviews, he's still talking too. But no, I do. It's a good political answer from him, and just to laugh it off, I guess. And what is he going to say?
Of course, you're siding with the Canadian Christian.
Yeah. Hey, man, I got to. So I don't know. Do you guys, MJ, do you think we ever see Goldberg's son in WWE in the NIL program / WWID type and NXT training facilities, that sort of thing? Or do you think he's just going to stick to the football?
So I'm not one of these weirdos who tries to keep up with like the athletics of younger kids, but I don't know how good he is at football. If he's good, he'll pursue that. But yeah, after that, 100% he's going to wind up in the NIL.
Yeah.
NIL. I think he'll be in the NIL just by virtue of like he's Goldberg's son. He's going to get paid, but I think what I meant was the developmental program or whatever that becomes, whatever that is.
Yeah. So the wrestling world pays a heartfelt tribute, or rather multiple tributes to Jax Dane after his tragic passing. He was an NWA pro wrestler superstar. He was 45 years old, I believe. He died on Christmas Day. So just our thoughts, prayers, best wishes, everyone from PWT over that way. I'm not overly familiar with Jax Dane, but I saw so many tweets from so many wrestlers sort of just talking about how great of a guy he was. And just really tragic. And that's terribly, terribly young to pass, and on Christmas, no less. So just best wishes out there to his family and anyone who may be familiar with his work. Anyone on the panel, are you guys familiar with him, with what he's been doing in NWA?
I'm familiar with him. I watch NWA and watched it in the past. But you're right. It's been a universal pouring out. I mean, he was most recently their national champion. He's a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Big guy. I think for a while he was wrestling with his son. I don't think that worked out. That stopped about 3 years ago. But big guy, about 6'3", 6'4", 300 pounds, muscles, wore sort of like a bear vest, and it looks like maybe he tore it right off of the bear. Apparently a big teddy bear. He wasn't that great a worker. He was perfect for NWA. if you look at him, he's sort of like a smaller version of the Warlord, and probably skill wise similar. But he was sort of a journeyman. He worked in Ring of Honor a little bit. He worked in TNA Impact a little bit. He was in NWA. He was working the Indies, and I think along the way he ran into a whole lot of people, from everyone from Tommy Dreamer to I'm not friends with, but I'm friendly with Aaron Stevens, Damian Sando, and
Right.
so I wish him condolences. I say, I assume that you're friends with him as they work together. He's like, I am. Thank you for your condolences. I did the same with PJ, because PJ knows everyone. He's like, yeah, I didn't know him, but it's very sad.
Yeah.
So but everyone around the wrestling world just universally has nice things to say about him, being supportive. There were some people saying I was a little guy in wrestling and people weren't taking me seriously and giving me respect, except for Jax Dane, and he told me I was going to be okay, and so just seems to be have been a nice guy. And I think he was 48. He had a heart attack in November after, not directly after an NWA taping, but a few weeks he was off. And he's had complications since. Anyway, I probably went longer than you wanted me to on that.
Hey. No, that was great. And that's awesome. You reached out to Sando as well. And yeah, I guess just best prayers and stuff. Someone in the chat said too, dude, trust me, Bret, they were like, oh, why should Bret Hart not be hard done by? I forget what the comment was. I saw it in passing, but they were like, yo, he took 20 years off of Bret's career. Right. Bret's like my favorite wrestler, one all time, bro. We're just reacting to the kids' response to that. It was just, I don't know.
It's also an accident. I mean,
yeah. So, and it's wrestling too. So
Joe Theismann doesn't hate Lawrence.
I get Goldberg was this, right? But if Bret Hart was that worried about it, he wouldn't have ever gotten the ring with him in the first place. So it just is. It is what it is, Yep. But after 20 years, you got to kind of. I agree. It's like you can't just hang on to that forever. But I love when Bret trashes Goldberg and WCW and everything. More of it. I get to. Yeah, I love it. I get a kick.
Goddamn Bill Goldberg.
Yeah, dude. I cover it on the show. I laugh my ass off at it. Yeah, no one's saying Goldberg's the best wrestler or anything, but his son's response was just kind of funny, laughing at it. Anyways, though, something to laugh at. Not the best flaming headbutt. Here we go.
Oh my God!
What an idiot! First off, don't wipe fire. So that's the first thing.
Oh my God! I like how he didn't expect the back of it to light on fire,
dude. And then the towel flies off his head and then lands after him. That's the funniest part.
Oh my God!
Oh! And then the guy rolls away from the flaming towel like it's a nuke.
And he's first of all, I don't appreciate you guys laughing at me. Second of all, that I hit the move and my opponent, tried to get away, but I didn't let him.
Well, it clearly goes awry, and he still does it, which is just so unsafe. Hey, are we supposed to enjoy all wrestling when stuff like this is being done? Because I think this is some of the worst parts of wrestling, and I don't know why this is happening. I kind of blame the professionals who then kind of increase their level of violence, that we need this to happen in order to shock people.
So I'm looking at the screen right now. We got Lio Rush and Action Andretti coming to the ring, and they're wearing I thought they were in Top Flight, but I guess it says they beat Top Flight, and they're wearing life preserver jackets, and they're heels now. So they're
Beetlejuice. That's what they are.
Yeah, but they're evil Top Flight or something like that.
Yeah, they broke away from them apparently.
They opened a competing airline.
Yeah. What is this? Oh my God. And it's on the 0 hour before. This is after Tony Storm already opened the show.
Did she?
I know we got to pour one out for Marco Stunt's career. I heard he's retiring, but it's a shame we never got Marco Stunt versus Lio Rush in AEW.
So breaking. TNA Wrestling assigned an exclusive multi-year agreement with Sportsnet to air TNA Impact every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern nationally in Canada on Sportsnet 360 beginning on Thursday, January 2, 2025. Shout out Sportsnet. I grew up watching that. That's where Jackie Redmond came from, and Jimmy Korderas was there. Even Morella, when he was done being Santino Marella, he was on like Sportsnet for a long time, and then he went to TNA. I mean, endless names. We could go on forever. But yeah, is this a W for TNA? I think it is. I say it is. What say you, people smarter than me? Dose and MJ for sure. I want your guys' thoughts on this. But and what, like, do you think, my prediction, before you guys let me know what you think about this, my prediction is that TNA outdraws attendance-wise an AEW pay-per-view. Like, they'll do 7K and then AEW will do a show that's like 6.5 in 2025. I think that'll happen. But and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on that. But
I'll give you like plus
yeah.
plus 200 odds. In other words, like I give you 2-1 odds on that.
Yeah.
And that's actually not bad. I think AEW TNA should be an underdog, but I think it's very reasonable.
Well, what do you think of the TV thing with Sportsnet? Is that a W or what?
Huge W. I think one of the biggest W's of all of this is in who was it? The who does Ref and Rants? That's Korderas?
Yeah, Korderas. Yeah.
So he kind of spilled the beans on this, but Sportsnet didn't even want a phone call with AEW. Like they were just, you know, ready to go forward with TNA, and I think that speaks volumes to where TNA now is, not just in like the mindset, you know, the mind of wrestling fans, but also like you know, broadcast partners and distribution partners, is that TNA obviously has increased visibility. They obviously have momentum, and you know, it can be looked at as nothing but a huge W for TNA. I used to be a massive TNA fan, like 2007, 2009. Same. And so to see them be around this long and then to see them kind of have a real revival, it's really a great story.
Absolutely. Dose, your thoughts on this? I know you got something to add.
I sure do. I mean, I've seen like mixed comments, but one, I think it's a huge W that Anthem let them shop around, period.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a W in reality, it could, the very act of giving them that freedom to not be stuck on Axis. I mean, remember, that's what basically got Scott D'Amore fired. I mean, he also tried to buy the company twice, and after they said no. But his main motivation, we think, or a motivation, was to try to sell TNA television outside of Axis and grow it because he believed in the product. I'm not so sure about their momentum and all that. I think some of it is false buzz and all that. I mean, I think a lot of it depends on how their relationship with NXT and WWE main roster continues. But I also think for the amount of money and the least amount of headache, it was a good investment. I also think that it says something about corporate partners respecting working with corporate partners as opposed to AEW that's sort of run by a wild child, a loose child, and maybe they don't have that much confidence in his staying power. So I think it's a huge W. As far as your prediction, I don't think that's outrageous. I mean, I just don't know if TNA will try to sell a building that's that big. I think they're really enjoying the success that they go to buildings with 25 or 4,500 and they're selling out. And I think they're pretty happy with that. But if they do, I have no doubt that they could sell out the right city with the right card, especially with a little bit of WWE assistance. I mean, World's End right now has 6,500 distributed tickets now.
That's what I'm saying. And TNA is aiming to do a building that can hold like 7,000 in 2025.
They're doing the UBS Arena in Long Island, which I would say the New York market's as good as you're going to get domestic, or well, I should say internationally for them, but in the US. Yeah. And then you also have like does a great point about the the business partner relationships between like bigger businesses. Yeah. And that kind of dovetails into something I speculated on, I think, on the spaces. If you don't mind, Phil, I'll give you this one.
Yep.
Who's to say that Warner Brothers Discovery wouldn't shop AEW's rights as a sublicense agreement the same way they acquired all the college sports through sublicense?
Yeah.
Just to put something out there for 2025, we're making predictions at the year end.
Question here, and that is, will Anthem allow TNA to shop itself in the United States to other markets other than Axis? And if they do, I think that's going to be a gigantic win for them because there will be interest. And I think that they can get a deal. If they can get a deal half as much as, you know, what NXT got, you know, let's just use the number 25 million for NXT. If TNA can get anywhere from 8 to 12 million for the show that they're already running just in the US, that's double win, that's huge. And I'm not sure what their numbers will be, but I have no doubt they can get $250,000 to 300,000.
Jake, man, what little cherry do you got to put on top of this?
Not much on it with that, but I mean, I think it's an absolute big win for TNA.
Yeah.
And I definitely think TNA will outdraw AEW.
There you go. Yeah, I'm thinking they will. They'll pull it off in one way to where they're going to sweat and they're going to cope, and there's going to be Meltzer cope over TNA.
Oh, yeah.
Not just NXT, but TNA next year. I think we're going to see a lot of that. I don't know. That's my prediction. But anyways, round of applause for light news. That was our light news, ladies and gentlemen.